I think that's our biggest passion here. It's just like connecting with people that are either passionate about their dogs or passionate about their brand or whatever it is.
And that was a big reason why we did take on Pretty Fluffy, because we just saw Pretty Fluffy as such an amazing platform to support small pet businesses. And that's what we've been doing so far. And more plans to do that in different ways from next year. It really is a unique platform for that, and people respond so well to it.
Welcome to the Wear, Wag, Repeat podcast. I'm Tori Mystic. As a dog mom lifestyle expert, blogger, and business owner, I love talking to other women in the pet industry and sharing their advice with you every week. Sit, stay, and listen to the latest episode. On this episode, I am talking to Katy and Shell. In the last year, they took over one of my favorite OG dog blogs, Pretty Fluffy. It was really great to hear about how they got started in the pet world by doing in-home pet family photography, something that nobody else was doing in Melbourne at the time. That narrative style photography exposed them to Pretty Fluffy several years ago. And when the opportunity came up to take over the site in late 2020, they decided to go for it. I really enjoyed hearing about their plans for the site's content and what they've been working on so far. Running 2 businesses plus taking care of 2 dogs, I had to ask how they stay organized to get it all done. Stay tuned for that advice later in the episode. I also want to mention that their pups, Sunny and Ziggy, also contributed to this interview, so you might hear some dog noises in the background. But before I hit play on this conversation, I want to thank you for listening to the show this year. From your car, while walking your dogs, or scrubbing down kennels, I know that you're listening because you're working really hard on your passion for pets. And it means a lot to me that you include me in your journey. So thank you. This is the final interview of 2021. That doesn't mean we won't have another episode. Next week's episode will be a behind-the-scenes look at one of the monthly lessons from Wear, Wag, Repeat Society. And with that, I want to wish you a very happy holidays. Now, let's hear Katy and Shell's story. Katy and Shell are the pet photographer and writer duo behind Pretty Fluffy, the ultimate lifestyle destination for stylish dog lovers. For over 5 years, Katy and Shell have celebrated the special connection between dogs and their people, capturing beautiful family memories at home and sharing their love stories through Melbourne-based dog folk pet photography. In January 2021, they took over the reins at Pretty Fluffy, where they continue the site's 10-plus year coverage of designer dog brands, emerging small pet businesses, the latest dog accessories, healthy dog treat recipes, training tips, daily inspiration, and more. They are also proud dog mamas of their 2 Cocker Spaniels, Ziggy and Sunny. Hello.
Hello. I love that introduction. Yeah. Can you save that for later?
Yeah, I'll send it over to you.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you guys here. I've been a huge fan of Pretty Fluffy for, I don't know, about over 10 years, but for a long time. Yeah. And I'm excited to get to know you guys since you just took over about a year ago.
Yeah,
exactly.
In January,
it's been a huge year
a massive
us.
year.
Yeah, exciting
big year of change.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Why don't we kind of like go back in time and maybe like Pretty Fluffy days. Yep. How did you get interested in the pet industry? You know, you have a pet photography business, but the pet industry is like such a broad definition. How did you get interested in working with pets?
I think, Katy, and have done family photography for years, lifestyle family photography. So it was all in home. We just felt like there was nothing like that in Melbourne, that all the photography was either in studios or outdoors.
For dogs.
So there was nothing authentic or anything. It was not authentic, but there was nothing in home where it's capturing those, you know, real moments where we love being at home with our dogs, you know. So when we got Ziggy, we were just like, why don't we
do a dog version of this lifestyle family photography?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, exactly.
Because dogs are part of the family as well, you know. So it was sort of, I think we recognised a gap in the market at that time to do a dog version of family lifestyle photography.
Absolutely. Yeah. But it was scary back then because, you know, we were like, oh, is it not being done because it's a great idea and no one's thought of it? Or is it not being done because it's been tried and, you know, it's best to be outdoors? So there was definitely a period where, you know, we were testing the waters a bit, but
it definitely wasn't happening at that time.
No, not at the start, but it's been amazing. Hey.
Yeah. So that's how we got started with dog folk, and it's funny because we could never have imagined how much getting Ziggy would just change the trajectory of our career paths. Really,
yeah, absolutely.
Hey.
Yeah,
I love it. Well, and I think it's like not that it was like a good or a bad idea because nobody was doing it, but it's just like a particular client, right? Because some people, even with family photography, some people want to dress their kids up in something they would never, ever wear and have those photos. And there's dog parents just like that too.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think I suppose I was seeing it as a little bit of an outsider because Katy has such beautiful photography, but is her own worst critic, right? So it's just sort of like, you know, it was a lot of support and convincing that like your work is amazing, and you know, even though it's scary to step into this space that we're not seeing anybody else doing, like I really think dog parents will respond to this. And it's been amazing. Like the response
that we, because whenever we go to, you know, quite often in clients' homes, they're like, I hadn't even thought about having a shoot at home, but it makes so much sense. You know, the dogs are relaxed, the parents are relaxed, we're relaxed, you know, it's such a nice environment to be in and to preserve those memories. So yeah, we love it.
And also just one thing too, being in Melbourne, like I'm not sure, I guess a lot of people wouldn't be aware, but Melbourne is such an eclectic city. So you've got all these different kinds of styles of people and styles of homes, and it brings this extra element of personality to people's photo shoots with their pets. It gives that extra insight, like this is our everyday space that we share. This is where we share our daily lives together, and it has that extra personal element to the shoot, which makes each shoot so unique and interesting as well.
It's so good going into homes and I'm just like, we'll shoot there, we'll shoot there, we'll shoot there, like running around the house.
And we're spying on people's things in their house, like their book collection and things like that. We love like home style and things like that as well. So that's
you can it kind of lends itself to telling more of like a story too when you're in someone's home.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No,
so did your pet photography business, did you get connected with Serena, who started Pretty Fluffy? Is that kind of how you guys got to know each other?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll jump in. Well, that's how we discovered Pretty Fluffy, because Pretty Fluffy is known for sharing a lot of work from pet photographers. So we discovered Pretty Fluffy and we were like, oh my God, this blog is amazing. It's beautiful. You know, and we saw a lot of other work on there from pet photographers, and we were like, let's contact Serena and see if she'll, you know, talk about what we do here at Dog Folk and everything. And that's what we did.
That was about 3.5 years.
Yeah, that was a good few years ago. Yeah. And she was so lovely, and just loved what we were doing and really got the concept.
And she'd never heard of anything like it either. So she was like, oh, wow, this is so cool.
Yeah. She is the sweetest. Like anytime that we've emailed in the past, like just so gracious and ready to give advice and just so nice.
She's been incredible. Lovely. Even to this day, you know, we often we chat with her, and she's been an amazing role model and person to work with her.
Yeah, definitely.
Big fangirls. Back then when the blog went live, the happy dances,
when our blog went on Pretty Fluffy, we could never have imagined in a million years that we'd end up being the editors of it. It's just crazy how life works out sometimes.
I know. Well, I have to share a little tangent. I told you guys before I hit record that Lucy and my old dog Lola were featured on Pretty Fluffy, and which you didn't even realize, but
it's so cool.
I feel like we should.
I'm going to dig out those photos.
I know, exactly.
It was a long time ago. I mean, she'll be turning 10 in February, and she was probably 1 or 2 in that. So it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But my friend who was the photographer for that, I remember she came to me with this idea. It was like her bucket list to get featured on Pretty Fluffy.
Yeah.
And she came to me with this idea of this styled shoot and asked me to prop style and provide the dogs.
Yeah.
and we did it, and she pitched it, and it got featured, and it was just like, I mean, such a big deal to get featured. So it was really kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. It is an honor for us to be editors now. Yeah, because as I think having a pet photography business, we have that unique perspective that we know what it means. Yeah, like to people as well to be featured on Pretty Fluffy. So it's something that we care for with a lot of. I guess we have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, absolutely,
and everything as well.
Yeah.
So how did this conversation get started? Like who approached who? Like how did you decide that you wanted to take over like one of the most beloved and renowned dog blogs
in the middle of a pandemic as well?
I know. Oh God.
We are nuts.
We were already sort of talking about some ideas, like an additional business we'd sort of like to get into in the pet industry. Due to our involvement in the pet community already through Dog Folk. I think because we already had some a lot of good relationships with brands through being sort of online and everything, and we sort of, we had a few ideas about a few things, and then it was around shortly after that time we saw that Serena emailed all of her contacts and just said, sadly, this is time for me to sort of hang up my hat, and is anyone interested in taking over, sort of thing. And I think right at the start, I just was like, oh my God.
We thought it would be amazing.
Yeah, we thought it would be amazing. We're like, no,
out of our reach.
It wouldn't happen. But then we thought about it a little bit longer and just like, well, hang on a second. We could actually really do this because I'm like, my background, we both have sort of like a marketing background. Like I'm a copywriter, Katie's a photographer. So we've sort of, we have that background with brands and marketing and stuff too. And we're both creatives as well.
That's puppy Sunny in the background.
Yeah, I know. He's in his pen next to us, and normally he's asleep right now, but unfortunately he's definitely not asleep.
Are you enjoying this interview? If you'd like to continue talking about dogs and business with the added support of a like-minded community, get on the waitlist for Wear, Wag, Repeat Society. This is my monthly membership program for women petpreneurs and popfluencers who are looking for accountability and support to make bark-worthy breakthroughs in their business. It's amazing what you can accomplish when you're surrounded by the right people and their dogs. Join the waitlist now at wearwagrepeat.com/society. Okay, so as you were, since you're 1 year into Pretty Fluffy, was there anything that you have found to be surprisingly like wonderful about it that you were kind of nervous about? Because it's a beast. It's like, there's a lot to it.
Yes.
Yeah. I think just generally, because we were going into a blog that had been incredibly made by Serena, right? And she, everybody knew Serena. So I think for us personally, we were like, how are people going to take to us, personally? And I think for me, like that's been so amazing. It's just like, I think that overall everybody has been so welcoming and they've loved what we've put out there, and the connections that we've made both with dog parents and with brands has been amazing. So I think for me personally, that's
that wonderul response from people welcoming us and building new relationships with people, like kind of taking continuing on from what Serena started with a lot of existing brand relationships and everything, and also building new relationships with people and being part of this community, this amazing community that Serena started so long ago.
Yeah.
So that's been a really wonderful side of it.
It has.
It's been very reassuring to us.
That's really great.
We've done the right thing.
Yeah.
And, Serena is like, we touched on it before, like when we share blogs and put things out there and stuff, Serena messages us and she's like, this is so much more amazing than what I could have imagined.
Yeah,
like,
she's so supportive.
Yeah, which is great.
Which is great for us. Whenever we get those messages, we're like, yes, Serena's happy. So we're on the right track.
It's like you got the stamp of approval.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been really good.
There's so much of it we love. But
yeah.
It's hard. She had it for so many years that I don't, it's easy to get kind of like stuck in your ways of like, here's what I do. And this is the formula. So to bring fresh eyes, even if it's, it's similar content really at the end of the day, because it's, style savvy, dog lovers and related kind of topics. But there's so many different ways to cover that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
And even like with next year, like we've got, so many plans for Pretty Fluffy that are going to really start to kick in next year.
Yeah, definitely.
It will definitely start to look and feel a little bit different next year.
Yeah.
In exciting ways, like I say it's going to look and feel different. It actually will still look a lot the same, but like some of the things we're going to be doing, like I think we touched on this at the Pet Summit. We definitely want Pretty Fluffy to feel like a community hub for dog lovers. So they can come and, find the latest pet accessories or get tips and all that sort of stuff. But also because we're quite heavily involved in Instagram, we'd love to have interviews on there from our favourite people, dog lovers that we follow on Instagram.
You want at home with.
Yeah, at home with, because...
So you'll be featured, so get ready for that email.
You're going to be on the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
But I like how that kind of ties in to like dog folk, the at home, it's all kind of integrated.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we want to get more behind the brand. So because we're so passionate about our little business, get in touch with people that have their own pet brands, whether that's big, small, and really get an insight into who they are, why they started, because I think that's our biggest passion here. It's like, connecting with people that are either passionate about their dogs or passionate about their brand or whatever it is.
And that was a big reason why we did take on Pretty Fluffy, because we just saw Pretty Fluffy as such an amazing platform to support small pet businesses.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been doing so far. And more plans to do that in different ways from next year. It really is a unique platform for that, and people respond so well to it.
Yeah.
People love it, and we love that because we love it too. So it's really great to see that.
I love the brand stories. I mean, obviously, I'm coming up on 200 episodes soon, so I love hearing how things got started and like, what dog inspired you to do what you do? Because there always is a dog that started it all, really, or some kind of pet. So I love that. So I'm looking forward to more kind of brand stories. What other kind of topics are you guys passionate about covering that might be, is there anything that might be different than what we're used to?
I think maybe the one difference thing we have is, obviously coming from a pet photography background, is DIY prop. So because we're so into Instagram as well, we definitely have a little bit about, some ideas around bringing some props into influencers and having downloads from the website and things like that.
Photo props.
Like photography props, that people can download. So I think that's something that will be a little bit different.
Yeah, we've started doing that. We've done a couple of those, but that is definitely something we would like to continue, because that's how we bring our pet photography angle into Pretty Fluffy as well. It's like people love to have fun photo shoots with their dogs and share these photos on Instagram and everything. So like, how can we help people make that fun? Easy and fun. Like we did this at Valentine's Day as an example, and these photos were popping up everywhere.
Yeah,
we
cool,
made these cute little props, that people could take photos with it. Just that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's really cool. That's different. I don't see other people doing that. The props that you can like download.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, like with Pretty Fluffy, that I think we need to be a little bit careful about, is like Pretty Fluffy has so much on there. So I think the challenge for us is to be like, we are the kind of people, because we're, we just have 1,000 ideas every single day. Like we wake up and we're like, oh my God.
Or in the middle of the night, we're like, hey, Shell, what about this?
So it's just like it's honing that down a little bit and just being like, well, we're always going to do a lot of different things, but, specializing in some things will be good too, because it'd be good to be known for
certain
specific like niche things. Like city guides is a thing we'd like to do as well.
Get in touch with, and that comes back to the influencers, right? All around the different cities around the world, But that's definitely something that is on the list. But like we said, so many ideas,
and we'll always do product focused.
I have a bit of a shopping problem, so
you got into the right business.
There's a knock at our door every single day.
And it's always like for the dog. And Charles like, what's here now? I'm like, supporting the businesses, guys.
Katy messaged me yesterday. Or was it yesterday, the day before when you were out? You're like, I just got sick of your dog bed. I'm like, does he need another dog bed? Like,
for the other living room.
We've got 7 dog beds. You know what I mean? So it's just like, okay.
Yeah, so definitely.
But it's great too, because we just discover so many amazing brands and products this way.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite components of Pretty Fluffy has always been the directory. Like I was saying, I love seeing all the Australian brands, even though it's hard to get them shipped all the way over here. But I love looking at everything, and it's a really fun kind of curated place to browse.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you said that. Because we love the directory as well. And the directory is definitely one area that we want to grow on Pretty Fluffy. Because we see so much potential. It's such a great platform for brands to be discovered there. We have some great, exciting ideas for the directory, actually. Another thing that will be coming next year. So
it's a lot coming next year.
It's also exciting. Hey, it's just like we wake up every day and we're just so excited about what we're doing.
Slightly tired,
we're
but
crazy.
excited.
We are a little bit crazy as well.
Yeah, but no, absolutely. And that's the thing. There's so much potential in what we're doing, and so many different nooks and crannies that we can explore with it, which I think we love.
And we also want to hear other people's ideas as well. It's because, and this is the thing, it's like, where we sort of want to take the direction with Pretty Fluffy, it comes back to that sense of community. It's like we'll always be popping in there and sharing things about our own life, but we do want it to feel like a community place. Like we want to share readers' stories and brand stories and
more of like a magazine stories, I guess. And I guess that's one big difference with Pretty Fluffy is, it isn't just a personal blog. I mean, obviously our dogs are very visual on there, but that's not what it is really. And I think as it grows, it's going to become more evident that there's
it is. I think it is like an online magazine.
I think it has that feel about it for sure.
So listening to you guys, I also am like the kind of person who has like a million ideas and I'm like, let's do these things. But then I have a lot of projects I started that I never went to the next step on. So with running 2 businesses, one of which is new to you, living together, having 2 dogs, do you have any advice, or do you have any kind of systems that you use to get shit done and like prioritize what needs to happen?
I'd say lists. We are list people.
We are list.
We need to start our day with a list.
I even write
prioritized list,
because apparently it's a fact that if you tick the first thing off on your list straight away, it helps you with momentum for the day. So I will always write make cup of tea and tick it off. Then every time, because it just sets me up for the day of like ticking things off the list.
So if it's been a disaster day, hey, I made the tea this morning.
So definitely lists.
That's one element of it. We have frequent meetings during the week together as well. We just sort of, because we take care of we sort of stay in our lanes a little bit with Pretty Fluffy and with Dog Folk. But obviously we need to come together for a lot of it as well. So we'll have little catch-up meetings just to come back on the same page together with where we're at with certain things. What priorities need to change. Our communication is really good.
I think that's one thing that helps, 11, nearly 12 years being together. 12 years being together, we know each other very, very well, so so we know when things are too much, we need to talk about stuff, we need to figure stuff out, we need to have a conversation or, whatever it is. And I think that really helps. And I think for Shell and I, we have a lot of respect for what each other does. And I think when those boundaries, we start feeding into the other person's role, that's when things get a bit tricky. But we know that, like, this is your job, this is my job, and this is, and then we're really, it's
but
really
in saying that, though, we do definitely take on each other's ideas and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, no.
Sometimes
100%.
we butt heads.
Sometimes we butt heads, absolutely. Sure. Particularly when it comes to the Instagram aesthetic.
Oh, Instagram aesthetic, yeah.
I know, yeah.
I've been in trouble a couple of times for suggesting we do a meme a couple of days earlier than what we should.
Because, no, it needs to be in the ninth row.
Because that will ruin the aesthetic.
There's silly things like that. But I mean,
look, we've been together for like 11 years. Yeah. So it's sort of like that's definitely helped. Yeah. A lot of people would think I could never work with my partner, like in such close quarters. And I do understand people saying that, but we love it. Like, and there are couples out there that do it and do it successfully. Yeah. I think we do.
I think for Shell and I, we just have the utmost respect for each other.
Yeah.
And I think with any business partner, you need that level of respect and trust in each other. Yeah. And I think that's, it's not easy. It's really not easy. We're together a lot of the time, but we've got a bigger house now, so
got an office I can go to.
Yeah, sometimes when we need to.
But on the whole, I think we deal with it really well. Yeah. So we're a really good team.
Yeah,
and we're proud of each other as well.
Yeah, that's really important, and it's important to be proud of yourself too.
Yeah.
So I guess this is a good kind of transition. I like to ask this question of a lot of people, which is, what do you know now that you wish you knew back then? And this could apply to Pretty Fluffy, to dog folk, anything you want. But what is something that you've learned that's like now, like, oh, duh, of course we should do it this way. Yeah. Where, back in the early months or early days of dog folk, it was kind of a struggle.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's a big question, isn't it? I suppose we'll look at that with what we've learned with Pretty Fluffy over the year, right? I mean, like one classic example would be the Pinterest disaster we've had in the last couple of last 3 months, which has now been rectified, thank God.
Yeah, finally.
You did such an amazing job with that, and I know because we got in touch with you about that.
Right. I want to hear Later about what happened.
Yeah. Pinterest just took a dive for us because the algorithm changed, and we were not prepared for that at all because we're new to Pinterest this year.
Basically. And a lot of the traffic came from Pinterest to the website, right? Yeah. So I think one of the biggest things we've learned in that regard is don't put a lot of trust in social media.
Yeah.
Just don't put all your eggs in one thing.
Exactly.
I think this year with Instagram going down for like a day,
the panic for people.
Yeah, that was a huge deal. Even though it was one day, it just, I think, made a lot of people realize you can't just trust any one thing, whether it's Pinterest or Instagram or Facebook or anything.
Yeah.
And we were lucky in the sense so that when the Pinterest crash happened for us, we'd already been putting work into SEO and we've been doing well with that and growing the website through that, luckily. So even though our traffic did go down a bit, we were okay because we had sort of been building it up with Google. But now we're sort of back with Pinterest and it's still climbing again. So
it's heaps better.
So that was a scary experience for us because we didn't know like how to fix it and everything. So it's just only been recently. So we've had so many learning curves this year. That's been one of the big ones.
We can hear dog. It's okay.
Yeah.
We have lives. Our lives have dogs in them, and
he's just drinking his water, and his tag is just like smashing against the thing. But I guess with that question, in terms of a personal level, I think both taking on Dog Folk and Pretty Fluffy, it was daunting for us. Both tasks were huge and scary, and had a lot of shouldn't we conversations. So I think the biggest thing I've learned is just to trust and go with, you know, your instincts, I think, a little bit, because when you have this gut, I think we both had gut feelings for dog folk and Pretty Fluffy, but then when your mind comes in and you're like, oh, but what about this and what about that? You tend to go, okay, maybe we'll keep it safe and we'll stick to the 9 to 5 or whatever it is. So I think, for me, I think you'll probably be the same. It's just like, just believe in it. And you know, if you've got this idea and this passion for something, just 100% throw yourself all in.
And being smart about how you do it as well. Like
there's always that.
I feel like we. It's funny because I feel like Katie's very much the like.
Katie's like, just do it. Just
I know. I'm like the realist.
Yeah. And Shell's like, okay, Shell's the realist.
We can do it, but you know, XYZ have to tick these boxes first.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's like with dog folk. You know, we took that on, like we were saying, and there was nothing else like that at the time. And we followed this gut instinct we had about it. We were like, we really believe in this. We think people are going to respond well to it. We did it, and that's what's happened. Yeah. And I feel the same with Pretty. Like we felt the same with Pretty Fluffy. Like we can do this. Like we've got amazing skills and creative ideas, and that's, you know, and we've achieved what we wanted to this year, and that is just to show people that we're here and we're the new editors.
And build the connection.
Yeah, we put this amazing content out there and continuing Serena's legacy with Pretty Fluffy. Yeah. We really want to take care of that. So, and that's been the biggest goal for us. That
and I think,
feel like we've achieved
we've
this
definitely
year,
achieved that.
which is hugely fulfilling for us because it was a risk to take.
Well, it sounds like it's a risk that was rewarded.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, I think we're out of time for this episode. But I want to thank you guys for just sharing so openly and honestly about everything. And it's really exciting to hear just the passion that you bring to everything that you do. And I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what you're going to do next year at Pretty Fluffy.
So thank you so much. Thank you for having us. It's been really good.
Yeah, of course. So please tell everyone, where can they find, if they don't already have it bookmarked, where can they find Pretty Fluffy?
Well, you can find us online at www.prettyfluffy.com. At Instagram, you can find us at pretty_fluffy. Oh my God, what's that Pinterest?
Sorry, it's just Pretty Fluffy.
Yeah.
I should check that.
Sorry, you're going to have to edit the Pinterest one.
they can search for that. Everyone.
And find us on Pinterest. Yeah. Wait, should I say that again?
No.
And you can find us on Pinterest.
Find us on Pinterest.
Keep it mysterious.
I was like, oh my God, what's the Pinterest name?
I should know that off the top of my head.
Well, I think that that really fits with your answer to the last question. So perfect answer as always. Thank you guys so much for being on the show. Thank you for your time. And I can't wait to keep in touch.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having us.
What did you like most about this episode? Find me on Instagram at TMystic and let me know what intrigued you or what questions you have about starting or growing your own dog-inspired business. You can also screenshot this episode and tag me in your stories. I love to see who is listening out there. Some of the best conversations happen after the episode, right? So track me down over on Instagram or join the Wear, Wag, Repeat Labs Facebook group to connect with other dog-obsessed entrepreneurs. And as always, you can find all the links and resources discussed in this episode at wearwagrepeat.com/podcast. See you back here next week.